guys. We had did a show earlier, and I told you, 6ix9ine is not broke, bro. 6ix9ine ain't got just no 1 point something in the bank, yo. That's for the public. He trust and know that an artist on that level that started. See, 6ix9ine started in a way that artists should start. He was an independent free market artist, and he was overseas. And he didn't have to deal with a label. Drake was doing it in the past. He didn't have to deal with a label. So the money that you make is based on the money that you give yourself accountable for. It's like the Rockefellers, no pun intended. The Jewish family, the Rockefellers used to say, control everything, own nothing. If I control everything, I don't need to have ownership papers. If I control that car, if I got the keys to that car, I don't need to put my name on the title. If I could drive it whenever I want to. So he has corporate entities in place that are generating revenue that just don't have his name on it. But he has control of it. He has control of the assets. There's a difference between assets and liabilities. And that's what he's doing. So when an artist says I'm bankrupt, they're protecting their assets. That doesn't mean they don't have money. 50 Cent claimed bankruptcy. He's not broke.
Right now, we talked about it yesterday on the podcast. Is it smart for him or for whoever is promoting and publicizing all of these gifts, expensive gifts, to be doing so, especially when you have federal attention on your ass and things like that? So how smart is that?
I wouldn't do it, but he can do it. I wouldn't say it's smart. No, I wouldn't say it was smart, but he can do it. Because if they can't tie him into it legally, then it's nothing they can do. Remember, RICO is the intent. It doesn't have to necessarily be legal that you're convicted. Remember, right now, Tekashi 6ix9ine has not been brought in on charges. He's being held under speculation of racketeering until his court date. So he's not receiving bail. So it's the intent. So if the intent is not blatant, and let me make that clear for people, when I say blatant, meaning that you're not assuming liability corporately for funds in order to purchase a G-Wagon. See, when someone might have loosely said Tekashi 6ix9ine purchased this girl a G-Wagon, well, it ain't saying that nowhere on the paper. Where does it say Hernandez or whatever his name is purchased this G-Wagon? Well, no harm, no foul. If he did, we can't do anything about it. So it goes both ways. If you're astute enough legally, you understand the legal system, yes, you can acquire assets without incriminating yourself. Yes, you can. It's done all the time. Done all the time. So, I mean, it's just understanding the laws.
Right. You see that his attorneys had set bail or said that they were confident that they'd be able to talk to the judge and get bail set at $1.5 million. How realistic do you see that being?
Very realistic. Very realistic. Because what's getting ready to happen as the case settles down and they're getting ready for court proceedings, it's gonna be closer and closer to a money thing. I mean, the way Tekashi is going, his situation, he'll probably do 3 years of sitting down. He's not going to do that long, but he probably will do some time. But he'll be given an opportunity to come back out and generate revenue to pay the courts. Because he's going to have to pay restitution when he gets out anyway. So they're going to let him generate revenue in order to do that. So don't be shocked if that comes to fruition. I don't think so. I don't think that Tekashi 6ix9ine was making money as a gang member. I think that his affiliates who invested in him as a gang member created his demise. I don't think that he's the leader of that situation. But I do understand that he's part of a conglomerate that backed and supported him. You have other artists that had that same problem. They just didn't outlive their problem. Artists like Chinks had the same issues going on. He couldn't get out of the drama. 6ix9ine was lucky enough to get out of that. Because if he wouldn't have been locked up, God forbid, he might not have been here. There's a strong possibility. So that's gonna be The future's only going to be able to tell that, oh God. But I will say personally, I think that Tekashi's going to do some time. But I do think that he may be let out on bail since the court appearance isn't until a certain amount of time, and the lawyers may be able to set up like a financing agreement for some of the debts that are owed, because he still got other pending court cases at the state level that he would have to take care of, and they may allow it. They may allow it. There's a small possibility he may get out on bail.
Now, do the feds do they regulate are they allowed to look into how much he paid for his lawyer and stuff like that, or no? That's kind of like a part where they can't really get into that, right?
Yeah, they can't get into that. See, that's what I'm saying. See, he can have a lawyer as a trustee that cannot divulge his income or anything. They can do investigations and things only so far. So if he has it set up properly, then he doesn't have too many things to worry about. And see, we only know the fallout. But clearly when Tekashi went on the Breakfast Club, he knew he was going to jail. If you pay attention to his dialogue, he knew what was happening. That's why he terminated everybody. He was being advised to terminate everybody. He didn't do it. He didn't wake up and say, I need to do this. He was advised to do that. Just like he was advised to go on Breakfast Club. He didn't want to go on there. He was advised to go on there and say what he had to say, because he had to. This is the public move. We got to look at what we see down the line, coming up down the line. He had to prepare for that, and that's what he did. I think that he was fully aware, and I think that this was a process that was going on for a period of time. These guys have probably fell out for a long time. Probably had some issues going on for a while.
Help me understand this aspect of it. We all seen that bail was set at $1 million initially, and now it's 1.5. I said yesterday that really common sense would tell me that $500,000 really makes no difference. But as I hear you speak, it's more so about money now. So Is it just like, okay, now this turns into a business move, and we don't give a damn that you're just as much of a flight risk at the 1 million that you would be at 1.5, and just give us the money, or just explain that to us real quick.
Yeah, it's turning into a money situation. It's not really the flight risk issue. It's turning into a money situation. And if he has the money and he has the ability to allocate it, then so be it. That I think he'll be given the small window. It'll be some strong contingencies. He may even be on house arrest. It's gonna be, he might not have much movement. He may be able to perform, because remember, they still released that album. See, it's a lot of telltale. Why would you release that album considering where he was at? So if the album is static and it's still rotating, it's still gaining, notoriety, he may be able to get out there and market and promote it, which is henceforth going to bring revenue in, which henceforth is going to benefit him once he goes back in, and upon him coming out, restitution. The attorney can argue on that behalf that this is the purpose for him coming out, to generate funds, because this is his means of living. So it's a slippery slope, guys, because the charge is racketeering that's pulling out other independent charges. So this is RICO. And in RICO, man, you could be just standing next to a guy and you got charges. So, and those charges have to be isolated and dealt with on a case-by-case basis. So he has individual charges that are conglomerate against him. So we really, really won't know until they actually start having another bail hearing. And I think it's scheduled pretty soon. Oh, yeah, definitely, man. Aboriginal Consulting Corporation, you can actually look me up on all over the place. You can just type in Aboriginal Consulting Corporation. But I do have an actual website, aboriginalconsulting.com. Also, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram, Aboriginal Consulting. Reach out to me. I deal in private wealth. I'm a private wealth advisor. I deal in financiering, estate planning. I help you with building startups, business startups, things of that nature. That's what I do. I'm a consultant in that aspect. Also, real estate. I also do real estate investing with my company, Assurance Limited. We do that as well. So you can also find me Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter with Assurance.